This video is an inside view on IM8's growth from zero to over $15 million per month and the 8 biggest learnings that you can apply to your brand. My name is Weische. I've worked with IM8 since day one from December 2024 until now, June 2026. Helped them scale from just their launch to now over 15 million per month, and they're growing faster and way more profitably than ever. And in this video, I just sat down, wrote down the 8 biggest learnings that I had of working with them. So this is really the best you can get. There's a lot of people out there that just break down the ad structure or the funnels from the outside, and I've had enough of it. So I just figured I'm gonna give you some behind the scenes stuff that you cannot find anywhere else online. So I would say let's get straight into the video. My company, Accelerated, has worked with IM8 since day one when they launched in December 2024. We built the funnels, we crafted the offers, and we tested hundreds of iterations together. So I thought I'm gonna just share some insider knowledge on what actually drove their growth and what you can apply to scaling your brand way faster and way more profitable. So I've split this in 2 parts. I'm going to share 8 learnings in total, 4 around the brand and the founder's mindset, and then 4 specific for the marketing and funnels. So let's get straight into this. Now, part number 1 are 4 learnings around the brand, the product, and the mindset. Number 1, biggest learning for me is that speed is your biggest competitive edge. If you look at the founder, Danny, he makes calls and decisions literally 10 times faster than most entrepreneurs. So his logic around decision making is that some fast decisions may be wrong, but you can also kill those fast, right? And just keep moving. And this speed really separates you from the competition. I remember back then in December 2024, when we had the first conversation, we literally jumped on a call, we talked for 20 minutes, and then on the dot, he said, let's do it, let's go, and signed the agreement, and we started working together. So this pace is exactly why we were able to test so many different things and ship so much stuff together. And over time, that speed creates a gap between you and your competitors. Because once you get comfortable, you lose your edge. So the team at IM8, they question everything to this day, even while they're winning. Even if all of the KPIs look amazing, every single day we look at the KPIs and we're like, how can we make them even better, right? Even when they were scaling to 5 million a month, 10 million a month, 15 million a month, every single day we were just sitting there together and thinking, how can we make this better, right? So they never got comfortable. So this is learning number 1. Learning number 2, product is bigger than everything, right? So the founder, Danny, said it always starts with a genuinely differentiated product. A lot of time should go into the product and making it better than anything else on the market. And what I see with a lot of founders is that they are great at marketing, but they suck at the product level, right? So no matter how good your marketing is, you're probably going to be able to scale up very quickly, but then what you're going to see with a lot of brands, they scale up quickly, but then they scale down too. Because a mediocre product does not survive over time, because people are simply not going to rebuy it. And what I just said is that a lot of people are able to scale up quick, but then the backend is not sustainable. So they get a lot of refunds, they get a lot of complaints, they don't have any positive word of mouth, and they don't have a strong customer lifetime value. And nowadays, where all of the costs are rising to acquire customers, a strong customer lifetime value is really, really big. So the product quality for IM8 is very, very strong, and they're not cheap on the ingredients. Also, something that you may have seen on the website is that over time we launched a 2.0 of the formula, right? So they went to market with an already very strong formulated product. Then they got a lot of feedback, a lot of data points from the customers. And then they went to market with a 2.0 version of the product. And this is also why the number 1 tennis player worldwide emailed them after using the product for a couple of months and asked to partner, right? So they had David Beckham, of course, in the beginning, but then over time, a lot of other big celebrities and influencers just started taking the product because their personal trainer or some of their friends recommended it, and then they reached out to IM8 to partner up with them. So this is huge. The third one is the brand needs to carry itself. Everybody that I talk to, they assume IM8 worked because of David Beckham. And yes, David obviously played a huge role in it. But Danny, the founder, his view is completely opposite, right? And this is really, really important part that I wanted to dive into. He also even went to David Beckham and just said, hey, David, we're really fortunate to have you, but this brand cannot depend on you, right? This brand has to be bigger than just David Beckham. So David's job was to cut through the noise in the beginning and get people to pay attention and obviously trust it, right? But from there, the product, the marketing, and the backend has to carry the brand. And also, if you look at a lot of other influencer or celebrity brands like Ladder from LeBron James and Tom Brady, or Mars Plus from Messi, or a lot of other brands from huge celebrities and influencers, they are just not scaling, right? They are not that profitable, not scaling to those numbers that IM8 is doing. A lot of these people, they expected the celebrity to just do the whole job and carry the brand, but then their product and marketing didn't live up to it, right? So a celebrity or an influencer, they can get you a lot of attention, but then you still have a lot to do, right? And this is why I also tell a lot of people where you could have a brand with David Beckham and it would not do nowhere near the numbers that IM8 did, right? So you always need to figure out how can you get the brand to carry itself. And the fourth learning is go all in on one thing, right? So IM8 was growing so fast that Danny treated anything else as a distraction. So my point is, don't try to make multiple brands try to work at the same time or have a side gig next to your brand or whatever. If you have one thing that works, go all in on that one thing. So ruthless focus is everything here. So if you want to dive deep into this, I really recommend you to check out this document, right? So just click on the link. I really sat down and just wrote down like everything that helped me grow the business, become successful, right? So I would just really recommend this to you if you're interested in this type of stuff. Now, the 4 learnings around marketing and funnels, right? The learning number 1 is you have to obsess with the offer, right? So this is the piece that also me and my team, we obsess with the most, because the offer is the make or break of any business. If you crack the offer and you have strong unit economics, everything else works 10 times better. With IM8, we started with a regular one-time offer and a 30-day subscription at a slight discount. So that was the version 1. Version 2 of the offer was to change it from just the product itself to a welcome kit, which you can see here, right? So this increased the perceived value for the monthly subscription because they would get the welcome kit, they would get the discounts, and they would get these 3 things in the welcome kit, right? So the perceived value is just way higher. And then the third version of the offer is when everything changed. It's when we introduced a 3-month subscription that you can see here with multiple features, right? So we have a welcome kit with 4 physical products, right? The sachets storage box, the mixer, and the bottle, right? So you get 4 physical products on top of the supplement itself. The second thing we then added was the digital product, right? So the 90-day IM8 transformation program, which is just a program to help them understand how to train better, eat better, and have a better and healthier lifestyle, right? And then what you can see here at the bottom is that we future pace them on additional gifts they're going to get if they stay on with the brand for 3 or 6 months, right? So if they stay on for 3 months, they're going to get a red signature bottle, they're going to get a cap, and then if they stay on for 6 months or more, they get a travel pouch and more travel sachets, right? So this offer really changed everything. So basically, the whole idea behind it was that the product is amazing. As soon as people stick to taking the product, they're going to see great results on their health. And what we just figured is 90 days is a really good period for people to change a habit, right? So different scientists say it takes around 58 to 60 days to change a habit. So if we get them to have 90 days of the product and we get them to consume the product, then people start seeing way better results and then retention goes way up versus somebody who maybe just buy the product for 30 days, right? So the last thing that we also did was we added a 90-day money back guarantee. So basically the entry barrier to this 90-day offer is super low because you can essentially just try it for 90 days and you can still get the money back if you don't like it. And that means you have such a high perceived value for this offer. And then if you look at the data, the refund stayed under 2%. 80% of the new customers are actually going into subscription, and of those 80%, 40% on the 90-day subscription offer, right? So insane. The customer lifetime value is just amazing, and these KPIs allowed them to scale super heavily. The second learning around marketing, offer, and everything is you need to have a huge volume of creative iterations. At launch, they ran 50 to 100 ads, and today it's always over 2,000 live ads. If you go to the ad library right now, it's 2,200 live ads. And that volume they achieve through mixing a lot of different things. And the biggest things is different awareness stages, right? So as you know, you have 5 awareness stages, a lot of different customer avatars. So let's just say, for example, you have 5 different customer avatars that you can go for, and you can hit those customer avatars with 5 different angles, right? And then obviously we have different creative types. So let's just say we have static ad, we have UGC, we have VSL, we have AI, right? So you can super quickly mix a lot of these different things, right? So take one of the awareness stages, one customer avatar, one specific angle, and one creative type, and then you have one creative. So it's essentially 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, right? So if you would just have 5 in each category, that already gives you 25 125 and then 625 different ads, right? If you would just have 5 each and would just do then one creative, right, in one style. And then obviously you can do multiple different styles of the creative. But that's where you then basically get a lot of volume from, and then obviously you can see like which creatives are performing the best. And that volume is what lets them test and iterate constantly, and today they spend over $200,000 per day on Facebook profitably without major creative fatigue. If you want to dive deeper into creative testing, then I would recommend you to check out this link. So in here I really broke down further how you can mix multiple different awareness stages with different customer avatars to get a really great creative output. I also showed some different creative types that are crushing for our clients right now. And then I also talked about how to really have different creative batches, and then how to do the media buying, how to iterate creatives, how to scale creatives, right? So if you want to dive deeper into that, then just check out this document. And then also at the top of the document, you're going to find the whole 1-hour video walkthrough of everything, right? So really recommend this. The 7th learning is congruent customer journey. So as I said, the volume on ads is insane. So we also needed funnels that can hold that volume. And this is basically the other half of what we did, right? The funnels, the landing pages, and the constant conversion rate optimization testing. On acquisition, which they did in-house, as I said, they went from 50 to 100 ads at launch to 2,000 and more live ads at any time. And with that volume, they can now spend over $200,000 per day profitably without burning their creatives. But all of that traffic is wasted if it lands on a page that is not congruent to what they just saw in the ad, and it just doesn't convert. And that is where we came in, right? So at any moment, there are 40 to 50 different landing pages live that are each matched to the angle of the ad that is being sent there, right? So the front-end volume of the ads pays off if the funnel behind it is built to convert. And most brands miss this, right? So they just do ads and then send all of those ads to the same one generic page. So these are just 2 different examples. The first one is an ad where we have a customer talking about bloating, right? So we then send that to a specific landing page with the angle of bloating. Or another example is we have an authority angle with this Dr. James. So here's an ad where he endorses the product, and then we send it to a landing page from this specific doctor, right? And then you can go to the ad library, check it for yourself, but we basically have a lot of these different pages just so the whole customer journey is super congruent, and we basically exactly match what they saw in the ad throughout the whole funnel. And then the last learning is you need to leverage the compound effect, right? So this one really surprised me in terms of how much it mattered, because it's really not one big swing that changes everything. It is 100 small ones. So we constantly collected data and customer feedback, created iterations, ran tests, and learned from the feedback every single day on every part of the business, right? So just imagine every single month you're able to improve every single KPI in your business by a couple of percentage points, right? This obsession with making everything better every single day carried this insane growth. And I just took this here to show it to you. So if you get 1% better every single day over the course of 1 year, you basically get from 1, whatever your starting point is, to a 30x, right? So if you get 1% better every day, you 30x your growth over 1 year. And that's essentially what happened with IM8. On the other hand side, if you get 1% worse every day and you start at 1, then you're basically almost at 0 at the end of the year. And that's why compounding effect matters so much, right? So hope these learnings were valuable for you in terms of your next steps. If you're interested in diving deeper into the success story, then watch the interview with Danny here, right? So I sat down with Danny, I got 1 hour of his valuable time, and I just asked him a lot of questions. So if you want to dive deeper into the success story of IM8, then just feel free to watch this video. It's probably the most valuable interview there is on YouTube around e-commerce brand scaling, because I literally just sat down with the founder and we both gave an inside view on the growth of IM8. And then secondly, if you want to work with me and my team, and you want to get the same resources that IM8 got, then just click on this link and schedule a call here with me and my team, right? So just put in your data here, and then you're going to get on a call with me and my team so we can discuss how we can work together. So thank you so much for listening. I have a lot more super valuable videos on my YouTube channel around e-commerce, scaling, offers, copywriting, acquisition, anything that is to help you scale your brand way faster and way more profitable. So make sure to subscribe, like, comment if you have any questions, if you want to see any specific content. And yeah, then see you in the next video.